Hey guys, it's Ashley with Baby Wearing International of Knoxville, and today I'm going to talk about something a little different. I'm going to talk to you about binding your belly when you're pregnant with a baby wearing wrap. This question has come up a lot lately, so I figured I would just make a video with some options for people to try out and see what they think. This obviously isn't exactly baby wearing, but kind of. And we're going to be using the same wrap that we're going to use to wrap our baby after baby's born. So it's kind of convenient. You can buy support belts and whatnot, but if you have this on hand, it's really easy to use. I don't have a lot of belly yet. I'm only 16 weeks, but it's baby number 4. And so you tend to get bigger faster. There's no right or wrong time to start doing this. If you've had babies before, then you will likely start it sooner. It really helps with hip pain and just like the discomfort of carrying around a big belly all day long. And it can really kind of just squeeze and hold everything in and support everything when you're starting to feel sore. So today, you can actually use a wide variety of wraps and even a ring sling. But I'm just going to be using my Wrapsody Hybrid Stretch. That's the wrap that I prefer because it's got a little bit of stretch to it. It's not super thick. And I like, it's really long. So it's equivalent to like a size 7 or 8 woven wrap. And I like the length because I like to do kind of multiple passes that I can spread out and really get tight, and it helps with the support. So I have used a ring sling and I don't like it as much, even though it's quick, and if it's something you have on hand, then it's good. But it's hard to get it really nice and tight. So anyway, this is my favorite. A Moby or a Boba stretchy wrap would be comparable. And you can definitely use a woven wrap if that's what you have on hand. You could even use a shorter wrap. You would just tie off wherever you run out of length, basically. Okay, so I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this. They have just little differences. If you're very far along and you have a big belly, then you're going to need the full width of your wrap. If you're not, then you can go ahead and fold it in half this way, so you don't get quite so overwhelmed with length. And that's just a personal preference. I've done it both ways. Okay, but you can see this pretty much covers my belly right now. If it was big, it wouldn't. This way, since I don't have so much belly to cover, it would be kind of hanging down a lot. You could always bunch it a little bit too if you didn't want to fold it. So either way. Okay. So find my middle marker. And for this one, if you're familiar, I'm going to be doing it similarly to front wrap cross carry. So start with the center tag, and I'm going to put it right up underneath my bust. I'm not going to fold it because I just don't feel like dealing with it. I'm just going to kind of gather it. Now I really like to try to pull this down on my hips as much as I can. And you want to start with it pretty nice and tight right off the bat. We're going to tighten it up some more, but you want to start with it pretty nice and tight, okay? And then behind you, you're going to cross them. So I always find it easier to just grab the top rail of the wrap when I'm bringing it up, and then bunch it after it's up on my shoulder. Now this one is nice, especially if you have a very big belly, you were carrying around like twins, and you really needed a lot of support underneath here, because when we have these straps, you can kind of really pull upward, and it kind of lifts all that weight. The thing I don't like about it is because we're going up, it's kind of hard to keep it low on your hips. So, which is one of the things that I love most about belly binding. It's really mostly just for that underbelly support. We are going to go back around and we can kind of cover the hips again, but just the downside to this one if you're trying to choose which one is which. If you have a small belly, this one, like mine, where it doesn't really have very much space to catch underneath, it might be kind of awkward too. Okay, so I'm just really pulling out any slack. The key to belly binding helping is getting it nice and tight. So I'm just really pulling on it, okay? I have this side pinned in between my legs. That just helps me keep my tension. And then this side, I'm gonna go back behind me. I prefer to spread everything instead of keeping it bunched. Just makes it more comfortable for me. So kind of spread that on your back. And then we're gonna spread this back and go underneath that strap. So this one is the one that you can get a little lower on your hips. And this one you can just spread across. Get this pass really nice and tight too. Okay. Give it a nice tug. I'm going to try to pin it in my legs behind me to keep it nice and tight if you have the length. Okay, and then this side, you go underneath that arm. Spread across your back. And then spread this across your belly. And I'm kind of gathering it and strand by strand tightening it as I go across. Really pull out the slack. Okay. And then find that one that I tucked. Give it one more good little tug. And then you're going to tie off, more than likely tie off behind you. Okay, this one you really kind of need all that length for. You could use a shorter wrap and just not do these cross passes, but I just find that it provides a lot more support. Now you could totally go out and rock this at the grocery store or just running your errands. Especially if you have a pretty wrap. I think it looks pretty. I don't think anybody is really gonna notice. You could even coordinate it with your outfit. Like a little accessory. Anyway, so this is belly binding option number 1. Again, since you have the straps over the shoulders, really helps to lift belly. So if you have a lot of weight underneath here, it's a great option. Now option number 2 actually starts off the exact same way with the center of the wrap at the center of your body in the front, cross behind you. But this one we're not going to take those straps up. And this one is a lot, I really like this for the hips because you can see how low I can get. Both of these sides, I can really pull it down. I seem to just get really sore hips. Kind of comes with the territory, but I really like for my hips to get squeezed a lot when I'm belly binding. So I'm really tugging on this. You can even get your partner involved or a friend, have them yank on you. It seems like you obviously want to be able to breathe, but it just really helps when it's nice and tight. That's why I like the stretchy, because with that stretchiness of the fabric, you can really pull it snug and it's still comfortable. Okay, so I'm just crossing the back. I'm really giving it and pulling it nice and tight. And then just like the other one, instead of going over the shoulders, these are just going to come back across. Take that side across first. I'll pin it behind me for now. Get it nice and spread. Okay, and then you can spread this one as well if you like. It all nice and tight. I just like to make sure nothing's twisted up. If it's twisted or bunchy, it seems to be a little more bothersome. Okay. Now this one I have a lot of length, so I could definitely use a shorter wrap and just tie off behind me, or I can just bring these bunched passes back around. It looks kind of cute. Get tucked a little bit. Looks kind of cute to like tie it off to the side. This kind of like a little sarong, or you could even bring the ties up here and tie off up above your belly. You can tie off on the center or off to the side, whatever you prefer. This was kind of my preferred way to belly bind. Like I said, I could get it nice and low on my hips. Really helps just squeeze those hips nice and tight. Okay, so that's second option. And then third option is just more for looks than anything else, I think. Still has the same supportive effect, but this is going to be a sweetheart. So for this one, I take that center tag that I have, start at the middle of my back. Okay, and this one we want to start a little higher because we're going to actually go over our bust. So I'm going to pin my left, this side, kind of underneath my armpit. This one you definitely want to have it fully spread out. You don't want to have it folded. But basically, you're going to go underneath your belly, over your bust. This would almost look like a shirt. If it was summertime, you could just wear like a tank top underneath it. Okay. And I'm going to bring it back behind me again, just to keep it that side nice and tight so I don't lose everything that I did. And then this one is going to come, again, making sure I pull out that slack. It's going to come up over my bust, back across. I'm really pulling it right here to get it nice and tight. Okay. All right. And then the side behind me, I'm going to kind of spread. I'm keeping this one bunched, but since I didn't really get a good hip support pass on that side, I'm going to spread this one. You can see there's not a set way to do this. You kind of make it up as you go. Okay. And then that guy, I'm just going to bunch. I can tie up behind me. I don't think I could get it to my hip, but if you wanted to spread that one, you could. Anyway, this one's really pretty. It's a good way to use up a lot of width of that wrap. And with a longer wrap, you still have multiple passes. I still think the one totally around my middle is my favorite, but this one looks kind of cool if you're doing this a lot and you want something a little bit different. So this is with a sweetheart neckline. All right, so those are some options for belly binding. You can actually do this postpartum as well. If you have any questions about it, check with your doctor. If you've had a C-section or anything, they may want you to wait a period of time. But it definitely helps just support everything postpartum too. But you also are gonna hopefully be wearing your baby and need your wrap for that. So anyway, give it a try. Hope it helps. Share your video or share your pictures if you try it. Thanks.